Hello, welcome back, students. Unfortunately, I'm paralyzed today, but I can still present, so let's get into the class. Today's subject, farming. First, nutrients. Each soil has a max nutrient value, the worst starting at 5 and the best starting at 80. The nutrient level affects the speed of how fast a crop can grow. Starting at 5% nutrients or less, crops will grow at only a 10% rate. 5 to 20% nutrients will result in a 30% speed, 20% to 35% being 60% speed, 35 to 50% becomes 90% speed, and 50 through 75% becomes 100% speed. And anything higher than 75 will result in 110% speed. Soil not at its capped nutrients will naturally replenish its nutrients every 3 to 4 in-game hours at a rate of 0.25 nutrients. This is reduced by 67% if a crop is in the soil, as well as by 10% every degree under 10°C, stopping growth completely at 0 degrees. Fertilizer will slowly release the listed nutrients into the soil at a rate of 0.25% every 3 to 4 in-game hours. This rate only being affected by temperature. At 0% speed, the release will pause and will resume when temps increase again. Lastly, potash will increase the K nutrient by 15% and change the name of the soil and its visuals. For hydration, soil will get 0.25% hydration, 3 blocks out, 50% for 2 blocks out, and 75% from 1 block out from a still water source block. This does include corners, so a donut-shaped soil surrounding water will all have 75% hydration. Hydration can be further increased by rain or manually watering from a watering can. Other liquids do not provide hydration to crops, and hydration is only applied horizontally. The rate that hydration affects plants is on a scale, with the highest being 109% growth rate at 100% hydration, lowest being that it stops at anything under 10%, but at 10% or higher, you now have a 20% rate of growth. When it comes to light, plants require at least 19 light level to grow at a full speed, taking a 10% penalty every 1 light level under. Currently, the sun provides the effect even during nighttime, so this is only relevant for indoor crops. For these crops, light sources must be provided. When underground farming is disabled, it is intended that every block under sea level a crop would need an extra 1 light level to maintain perfect rates. Currently, this isn't in effect, and post 19 blocks deep, it actually disables the mechanic and lets you grow crops in total darkness. Now on to crops themselves. Each crop has a value that it must reach before it is fully grown. While this value doesn't actually control how long it will take to grow the crop, what it actually controls is how many times the crop will drain nutrients from the soil before the crop finishes. This can have drastic effects depending on the crop and soil. For instance, onion and sunflower take the same amount of time to grow under unchanging conditions, but due to the difference of 5 in total values that they suck nutrients, the sunflower on low fertility soil will take nearly a month and then a bit more time to fully grow compared to the onions. When it comes to nutrient consumption, it's just the amount of nutrients the crops will use to complete all stages. This means crops with very low consumption will finish quicker than similarly timed crops if the soil levels are not maintained, since it will drain less nutrients per growth, resulting in faster growth. Crop stages also affect when a crop can feed beehives or be eaten by wild animals. Currently, it's almost always stage 1 and the last stage for bees, but as of now, the animal eating mechanic is not functional due to a coding error. When it comes to crops being damaged, each crop has a 49% HP for temperature damage. When the crop spends an hour above or under its temperature threshold, it will take 1 damage. After taking 49 damage, it will die on the spot. The damage types do not stack with each other, meaning salt and heat damage crops will die at the same time as heat damage crops unless the salt kills it beforehand. Salt water seems to be less effective as a killer than the temperature damage is, taking around 60 in-game hours to kill a crop compared to the temperature damage being 49 in-game hours. Some plants can be broken 1 stage earlier from finishing for reduced drops and, depending the crop, a 1% chance to lose the seed. Breaking a plant any stages earlier is a 30% chance to lose the seed and 0 product will be gained. Currently, a dead plant will drop a seed at a 100% chance, as well if the plant was fully grown, drop the normal amount of product and seeds if it never died. This can be abused to get full drops from damaged plants, so if a plant is damaged by heat or cold, it may be best to just let it die before you harvest. For the plants that can be broken early, amaranth, cassava, peanut, and soybean will always return a seed when broken 1 stage before completion. The plants that have a 99% seed rate chance are cabbage, carrot, onion, parsnip, and turnip. Plants that should never be broken before completing are flax, rice, rye, spelt, and sunflower. Lastly, pine needles can be broken from stages 11 to 15 at a 99% seed chance. Pumpkins are going to get their own section since they act strangely. Pumpkins will shoot out vines in all directions as they grow and have a chance to spawn a pumpkin, which will slowly grow as long as it's attached to a vine, withered or not. The vines can spawn on mostly solid blocks like stone paths and minor chiseling, but the pumpkins themselves required a solid top face. The max distance a vine can grow out is 8 blocks in the cardinal directions, and adding the pumpkin means 9 blocks of space from the seed is required if you want to not risk any loss of productivity. After minor testing, it seems the average amount of pumpkins per crop is around 3 to 4 per planted seed. It is recommended when farming pumpkins to do it vertically to take up less space. Fruit trees, like crops, have a minimum temp they can withstand, but unlike crops, no maximum. They do require cold enough weather to vernalize, meaning if a tree doesn't get cold enough, it won't produce fruit. This results in a similar sweet spot zone like crops have. Trees growing off of cuttings, which are branches of a currently grown tree. Each planted branch has a 40% chance to survive when planted. Trees do regrow, so feel free to reuse successful trees. You can also graft branches together, but this runs a 50% chance to kill the whole tree, so it is risky. Lastly, berry bushes will just constantly pump out berries as long as it isn't 0 degrees out. When it's 0°C, they will go barren and no longer produce berries until it gets warmer. Thank you for watching this far. In the description there will be a spreadsheet for when each of the main crops are finished growing when unattended in each soil type, just to help put some perspective on the speed of farming. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down any questions. Bye-bye.